Group B of the Afcon is going to be spicy, people. Egypt versus South Africa. Angola, who have been a mess the last year but have quality. And can Zimbabwe throw a surprise in this group? But let me know your initial thoughts of Group B. Who will be the winners? Who are going to be the standout players? And who will win the game between Egypt and South Africa? That match, day 2 matchup. Chef's kiss, people. But let's get to the preview and prediction of Group B of the Afcon. Let's start off with Angola, because Angola this past year have been, let's just say, pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. They had an amazing Afcon last time around. The football they were playing, Mabalulu was a star on social media with his celebrations, with his fantastic finish he had against Namibia. I mean, Mabalulu was amazing. And then ever since that Afcon, Titanic settings. It's been horrid for Angola. I mean, they went from late 2024, early 2025. They were just horrendous. I mean, that loss they had at home to Cabo Verde in the World Cup qualifiers, it just seemed like it drained all of the superpowers that Angola had. And ever since that moment when they lost to Cabo Verde at home, oh, it's been terrible. They even had to part ways with Pedro Gonçalves, the manager, who's been there for like 6 years. Now they have a new guy called Patrice Boumet. I think he's been before in the Afcon with Ivory Coast, so at least he has some experience. But this is not the form you want if you're Angola heading into this tournament, because Angola actually have some good players like Luvumbo, Gelsandala, Freddy, who I absolutely like. Freddy was one of the best midfielders at the last Afcon, and Mabalulu. Now, some of those guys are getting older, like Mabalulu and Freddy. I think they're now in their late 30s. You gotta be a little bit worried if you're Angola, saying, okay, we got the players, we can play some good football still, but we haven't really transitioned away from the old stars within this group. And the football they've been playing recently, I mean, they are so fragile defensively when dealing with counterattacks. And you're going to play against sides like Egypt and South Africa, who have a lot of good attacking players on the counterattack. Yeah, Angola are going to concede goals. And we saw the last Afcon, Angola can score goals, they're going to concede goals, they're going to be a very entertaining side. I'm just more intrigued to see how does Patrice Boumet really approach this Afcon. Does he want to be same like Pedro Gonçalves and take the game to the opponent, be a very attacking side? I think it suits these players. I don't think you can say Freddy, Gelsandala, Mabalulu saying, hey, you guys just defend. Sit back and just defend for 90 minutes. I don't think that's the way Angola should be going about with this tournament, but they are a dangerous team. They kind of remind me of like Mali and Comoros, where they have the quality, they can upset a team on any given day. It's just a matter of which Angola is going to show up. Is it going to be the Angola from Afcon 2023 or the Angola that we've seen in 2025? Because the Angola in 2025, it's a pretty poor sight to see right now. And then we got Zimbabwe. Now look, Zimbabwe are back at the Afcon for the first time since 2021. They have never progressed out of the group stage at any Afcon they have appeared at. Mario Marinica, who has been their manager only for 2 games, and he was the same manager that guided Malawi to the round of 16, a historic achievement for Malawi there. Can he do it again? Because if he can lead Zimbabwe out of this group to the knockout stage, give the guy a lifetime contract right there. They have a very strong midfield. Zimbabwe were a very difficult team to play against in World Cup qualifiers, but they are not a good attacking team. They have like no attacking talent. They have no goal scorers within the side. All of the talent is in the midfield and in the left back position with Jordan Zemura. That's it. Because you look at guys like Marcel Minuzzi, obviously Tawanda Chiruewa, 2 guys from obviously Wolverhampton Wanderers, even though Wolves are having a terrible season in the Premier League. Those are 2 quality guys. The only way Zimbabwe are going to win games at this AFCON, low scoring. It has to be 1-0, 0-0. They got to have a defensively solid game plan like they did in the World Cup qualifiers, where they kind of upset South Africa when it was 0-0 and Zimbabwe were celebrating the point because they thought, oh wow, we really ruined South Africa's dream of qualifying to the World Cup. I mean, that rivalry is great and we get to see it, and at the AFCON is even special. I just think for Zimbabwe, this is going to be tough. I think they're going to be a very defensively sound team. They're going to give up chances, but who's going to get the goals? That's the big question mark. If they had a striker like a Mabalulu on the Zimbabwe team, they could be a dangerous team. But because they have no real strikers of note that can get them the goals, that's why I'm going to be like, okay, Zimbabwe, the only way you're going to win 1-0 or 0-0. That's the only way. But I would not sleep on them. They are a dangerous team. They are a physical side. And with Mario's experience in AFCON, maybe they can throw up a surprise here. And then we get to the 2 heavyweights of this group, Egypt and South Africa. Let's start off with Egypt. It's been 16 years since they won an AFCON. 16 years for the grandest, the biggest, the most historic African team on the continent. It's a travesty. It's a travesty. And with the Afcon final losses that they had in 2017, 2021, very heartbreaking losses, this side need to put some respect back on the national team. They do. And this is a talented Egyptian side. I don't think people could say it's like from 2012 to 2015 when they were missing those Afcons. And, there was obviously so much just uncertainty with Egyptian football. Now it's like, okay, we have quality here. Yeah, you could talk about defensively. Egypt don't have the best of quality. And obviously, Abdelmonem is missing this tournament, which is a big, big miss. But I think it's better to just keep him fresh and fit for the World Cup instead of for the Afcon, even though it would be good to have him in the Afcon. But he just returned from a long-term injury. So I think it would have been a very risky decision from the Egyptians' perspective to bring him into the side. The squad just got called up today. Ashur is back, which I am shocked by. I did not imagine that Ashur was going to return to the Egyptian national team. But this guy deserves to play in the Egyptian national team. He deserves to play in the midfield. Ashur is an unbelievable baller. Just the way he can drive with the ball, box-to-box sort of player. You mix him with, obviously, Marmoush and Salah Mustafa Mohamed, Trezeguet, who's been unbelievable the last couple of months for Egypt, Zizou, Ibrahim Abdel. Egypt got quality. But wow, I don't know what they're going to do defensively. Because remember the last Afcon, people, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. They were addicted to that scoreline in the group stage. And then obviously they lost to DR Congo on penalties. I have really no trust in Hossam Hassan right now. Yes, he can bring... You know who he reminds me of, people, Hossam Hassan? He reminds me of Sampaoli. They're bald, they're crazy, they're energetic, they speak loud. They kind of remind me of each other. And they have the same tactics, which is gun-ho, screw the defense, and you star players, try and bail me out here with my poor tactics. I think that's the big problem here from Hossam Hassan. We don't know what formation he's going to go with. We don't know what tactically he's going to do. Because sometimes during the World Cup qualifiers, they were playing 7 attacking players on the field, people. Egypt, 7. Because they could do it. Because they were playing against sides like Djibouti and Ethiopia. You can get away with it there. Of course you can. But we saw the game against Uzbekistan. Now, granted, yes, Egypt were missing some players, but they got bullied and played off the park by Uzbekistan, who are a good side, and nobody should disrespect Uzbekistan here. But damn, this is the Egyptian national team we're talking about. So if you're any Egyptian, you can say to yourself, we got quality. We can still do this. Yes, we might have a lot of question marks about the management, the FA, and all this sort of stuff. But Hossam Hassan, this is your thesis. If you don't pass the test here, I think the Egyptian FA are already having plans of sacking him and moving him on and getting a new manager for the World Cup. And that wouldn't shock me because what has Hossam Hassan really proven to you? Okay, he got a point away to Burkina Faso. Yes, Hossam Hassan, you are the guy. You are our leader. You can do it. You can bring us to glory once again. Maybe he can throw up a surprise here. Maybe the Egyptian FA and Hossam Hassan have really had detailed analysis, looking at the footage, looking at what they need to work on, what they need to fix in order to be a competitive side at this Afcon. Of course, are Egypt one of the contenders for this Afcon title? Yes, they are. Yes, they are, because they got Mohamed Salah and Marmoush. As long as you have those two attacking players, you can strike fear into anybody. So for Egypt, I think they just need to fix up defensively. I don't have any question marks attacking-wise. Nothing really in the midfield. I think they have quality players in the midfield. It's just defensively, what do they do? What do Egypt do? And if they can just fix the defense, Egypt can go far at this Afcon. But I don't want to see again the Egyptian national team play 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. We cannot just have a basketball game here, Hossam Hassan. We need some stability. We need a little bit more control. If you can bring the control, I think Egypt can have a very good tournament. And for Salah, one more opportunity, really. 2 more opportunities. But this is the last opportunity at your peak. 33 years old. He's having a poor season with Liverpool after an incredible season he had last year. So many people are question marks about, is he still that guy? Oh my God, are his legs gone? Well, this is the tournament, Salah. Shh. Shut up the guys like Jamie Carragher. Shh. Shut up all these guys on social media saying, oh my God, Salah has never been that good. It's just nonsense. But Salah, he needs to win an Afcon with Egypt. It is mandatory because all of the great Egyptian sides and great Egyptian players, they've won Afcons. And Salah still doesn't have it. And you can't say, he hasn't been to a final. He's been to 2 finals and lost. 2. So he's had opportunities. But now the opportunities are dwindling more and more. And I'm a little bit worried because I think for Salah, it's so important to win an Afcon. You can just tell every time he plays for Egypt. Obviously, that heartbreaking penalty loss he had against Senegal twice. I mean, that really must have just mentally killed him. It must have, because that is just such heartbreaking, moments that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. But this is a moment for Salah and Egypt to silence all the critics, because there's a lot of critics for this team right now, and rightfully so, because they've not been playing well. Yeah, they're scoring goals and they're, oh, look at us, we're collecting 3 points, we're qualifying for the World Cup, but I don't think Egypt have been a dominating side recently. But they can change the narrative at this Afcon, and they got a tough group here. Look, Egypt, their first game is against Zimbabwe. That is a must 3 points. Then you're having South Africa, and the final match day is against Angola. This is not going to be an easy group for Egypt, and I'm a little bit worried about their status heading into this Afcon, but they got the quality, and let's see if Hossam Hassan can pass the test here. And then we move to Bafana. Now, if you want to talk about the critics for Egypt, I think there's a lot of hype right now with South Africa, and rightfully so. This is the most successful period for the national team since the late 90s, early 2000s, when they qualified to the World Cup. They won the Afcon, 1996? This is now the best period since then. They have been incredible the last 2 years. Yes, they have suffered some setbacks with the whole Mokoena situation, losing away to Rwanda, drawing at home to Zimbabwe, all that sort of stuff. South Africa have dealt with the adversity. They've dealt with all the setbacks. And this team, I think the fans, I think the national team, and everybody that's kind of following African football, I think they're expecting big things from South Africa again at this Afcon. I think third place was a surprise last time at the Afcon. If they get third place at this Afcon, you're not surprised. You're going to be like, hey, that's about right where we expect Bafana right now. You have to really just praise Hugo Broos right now. I mean, the job that Hugo Broos is doing has brought stability, unity, and quality. And that's something that has been missing a lot for Bafana. They haven't had a unity about them. They haven't had stability. Yes, they've had some quality players in the last couple of years, but there just seems to be a united force about this Bafana side, and it's just a beautiful sight to see. And one thing he's also done, he's brought in a lot of youngsters. And from the squad for the Afcon, there are 6 U20 players: Tylen Smith, Mbokazi, Kabini, Nkota, Campbell, and Mofokeng. 6 U21 players. Hugo Broos, you might have to build him a statue soon. If he wins an Afcon for Bafana and guiding them to the World Cup for the first time in 16 years, you build him a statue in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Pretoria, wherever, Durban. You have to build it, because what he has done for South African football is marvelous. And it just seems like there's so much positivity. But now I think South Africans are like, let's perform. It's time to now perform. We've done all of the hard work. We got the quality players. And Mbokazi, I think he's about to make the move to Chicago Fire. It might be confirmed when I'm going to upload this video. But I think this kid is unbelievable center back wise. This kid is just physical. He wants to defend. He reminds me so much of like a Puyol. Like, maybe not the greatest on the ball. Defend. That is the number one thing as a center back. Mbokazi does that. Then you have a guy like Kabini in the left back position. You have Nkota, Campbell. I mean, it's just incredible to see the amount of quality right now for South Africa. Then they have Mokoena. As long as you have Mokoena in the midfield, you're set. You're good. He's like the Pedri for South African football. No Mokoena, no party. I think Opolis, by the way, deserves a lot of credit, because Opolis, since he's been brought into the South African national team the last couple windows, has really performed well. And I'm really excited to see what he can do at this Afcon. Because remember the last Afcon, people? It was Percy Tau, who's now playing in Vietnam. And he's not going to get any sniff towards the squad anymore. He's done. And now you have players like Opolis who really have stepped up, and Mbule in the number 10. I think he's such a good link-up player. He can obviously carry with the ball. He's got good link-up play. I think Mbule in the number 10 role is like that throwback number 10 that some people really miss. If you haven't seen Mbule play, because I've seen him only a couple times with Bafana, I don't really get to watch him with Orlando Pirates. This guy's special. And I think this is going to be a breakthrough tournament for him at this Afcon. The only player that really needs to step up at this Afcon is Lyle Foster, the one guy who's playing in the Premier League. And he's had a lot of critics with South Africa, and rightfully so, because, he is one of the star players, but he hasn't been great. This is the tournament. This is the tournament where Lyle Foster can silence a lot of critics and be that main guy for Bafana. And I think for South Africa, when you're talking about aspirations for this tournament, why not win it? Why not? They have the quality. They have the momentum. They have the manager who's won it before, by the way. I think this is the moment for South Africa. I'm not saying they're going to win the tournament, but they can definitely be contenders. And I think now, can they perform under pressure? They definitely performed under pressure in the World Cup qualifiers. When they needed to, they got a point at home to Nigeria. Terrible field, a lot of players missing in that team. They had a completely new defense. They stepped up in that game. Rwanda at home, pressure cooker game. They showed character in that game and won the game convincingly and qualified for the World Cup. South Africa have stepped up in the big games in the last couple years. Let's see if they can do that for this tournament in a very difficult group. This is not going to be an easy group. Zimbabwe are a bogey team for South Africa. Then they got Angola, who have quality. And of course, Egypt are Egypt. So this is a really interesting group. I'm so excited for it. Early predictions-wise, I think Zimbabwe will finish last, Angola third. I have to be honest, I'm going to go with Egypt second, South Africa first. But that game, match day 2, December 26th, at the, Adrar Stadium in Agadir, we will be there, people. That game is going to be so much fun to watch. And Egypt got to get some revenge after what happened in 2019, because I don't need to remind the Egyptians what happened around the 16th of 2018 Afcon at home, because South Africa won that game. But anyways, this is going to be a great group, and I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who are the favorites? Do you think Angola can surprise? Can Zimbabwe surprise? Do you have question marks about Egypt? Is there any question marks about South Africa? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And remember to follow me on all the socials. Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links. Description down below. And the next group preview is Group C. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.